Welcome to the Strenuous Life Radio, a podcast where leaderpreneurs, entrepreneurs, men and women learn the essentials and soft skills of the strenuous life. It's good to have you guys on board today. We're in for a treat. You've heard from Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and Dan Clark, and now we are back to Tony Robbins. Hear what he has to say about emotional intelligence, and then I will come back and give you my input.
All of these emotions, these categories of emotions, are there for a reason, and they're to give us a message that something needs to change. Now, one of two things has got to be changed when we're feeling any of these emotions. And before I tell you this, let's make sure you're enrolled here. How would you feel in your life if you knew, no matter what emotion you felt, you could go, okay, am I feeling uncomfortable, or is that a feeling of fear, or is that a hurt feeling, or an anger type of feeling, or a frustrated type of feeling, or a disappointed, or a guilty, or inadequate, or overloaded, or lonely feeling? How would you feel if you knew that in a moment or two, you could instantly get out of that feeling, no matter how intense it had been? Would that be useful? Then stick with me, okay? Because I know this may seem a little bit cumbersome first, so listen to me carefully. At any moment you feel any emotion, the first step you're going to always want to take to master your emotions, first step always will be to identify the signal. What I mean by identify the signal is figure out, if you're having a feeling, which one of these categories does it go into. So let's take a look at how this might work. Let's say something happens between you and a loved one, and as a result you feel rejected. You look at your list of 10 here and you say, rejected's not on here, Tony. Well, step number one is identify which category it most fits. Well, when you feel rejected, you really could feel a lot of things about that rejection. You might feel uncomfortable, you might feel actually hurt, or you might feel angry about it, or as a result of rejection, you might feel lonely. What I'm trying to do is get down to the core emotion that really is controlling you, rather than just this giant word called rejection, which really isn't the essence of what you're feeling. As you go down and you look through your list, and by the way, I know you're not good at this list yet because it's brand new, but you'll memorize it simply by listening to this tape over and over again. By the end of this conversation, hopefully you'll know the 10, and I'll keep saying them again for repetition's sake. What we're going to call them from now on is action signals, because that's exactly what they do. They are signals for you to take action, to reevaluate the way you're perceiving something or the way you're proceeding, the way you're communicating your feelings to other people, or the way you're behaving around other people or situations. In other words, they're going to tell us we got to make a change in order to get what we really want. And that's what these action signals are all about. They're not negative, they're not bad, they're there to serve us. But for now, let's come back to the example. We said step number one then always is identify the signal. That simply means where does it fit in here? So in this example, we've said that rejection really was just uncomfortable for you. Maybe what happened is you turned to kiss your husband or wife and they were busy reading or writing or something and they didn't really reciprocate. You felt, kind of uncomfortable about that. You didn't feel lonely. You didn't feel hurt. You didn't feel angry. You just felt a little uncomfortable. The signal of being uncomfortable is calling to your attention a message. And the message of uncomfortable feelings is, one, realize you need to change your state. That right now, no matter what happens in the state you're in, you're not going to appreciate it. You're not going to be resourceful in understanding what things really mean. Say, for example, you're feeling in a state of being uncomfortable about that, you're going to start hallucinating. Well, gosh, my husband or wife, they weren't really loving to me. Does that mean that they're not interested in me anymore? Does that mean that, that our relationship's not as strong? We tend to hallucinate when we get in an unresourceful state. So when you feel uncomfortable, first message from that signal is, hey, change your state. Second, clarify what you want. Immediately, you got to clarify what you want. That's what this signal is trying to tell you. It says, don't just be uncomfortable. What do you want? If you want your husband or wife to be closer to you, get clear that's what you want. And step 3, immediately take action in that direction. And the way to take action in that direction is communicate your desire or do something that expresses it. Make sure you do something until you achieve what you want and you're no longer uncomfortable. It's literally that simple. Don't just sit around and go, gosh, I feel bored. I feel foolish. I feel insecure. I feel kind of rejected. I feel uncomfortable. Say, great. I need to change my state. The fact that I'm uncomfortable is a signal. It's giving me a message to immediately change my state. 2, clarify what I want. And 3, take action in that direction. If you do that, you've conquered this emotion immediately. Let's say you felt rejected to the point where you called it hurt. You really felt hurt inside. Well, what's the message of hurt? When you feel the sensations you call hurt feelings, That signal is giving you a different message. And the message there is that there's an expectation you have that's not been met, and you have a sense of loss. That's why it's more intense than just being uncomfortable. You feel like you've actually lost something. Now the challenge with this, as with all these emotions, is that when you identify the message, you must immediately clarify what has to be changed.
All right. Oh boy. Jared wants to talk for just a minute. I want you to do this exercise with me, alright? And I'll bring it back to Jimmy. You have an inner cry that can go for emotional intelligence and authenticity. Sometimes you can do it outward or inward. I want to do mine for one that's for mine and Jimmy's. Stand up straight, square your shoulders back, head up. You just give out this inner yeehaw. You know? Some people it's woo-hoo or whatever it is, you know. Okay, JR, I think that's enough. You see, emotional intelligence is very important. Yesterday, I went to see my psychiatrist about some mental health challenges I have. And I think some of the good things about him is that he gives me a call to action. A call to action, if that tells you something. And so I hope you find this helpful so that you can begin to understand that emotional intelligence means that it's okay to not be okay, but like Tony Robbins, I gotta say, sometimes you just don't stay there. Don't stay there. Why do you think at the end of every episode of this podcast and Empower Your Pattern, I say, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. It's not meant to be a mystery. You know, for years, because of some of the problems I had, I always thought that I was emotionally stinted. And then, during my divorce recovery, I was talking to my friend Julie at the time, and she said, "No, Jimmy, you're not emotionally stinted. You're in the process of emotional healing." And I guess it's a daily process. Now, a lot of times I talk about rugged individualism and how important that is and everything, but in the strenuous life. But sometimes we have to admit in the strenuous life that it's okay to not be okay, because the emotions are like action cues for you to do something. You know, take an inner stance. There's some of the stuff that Tony Robbins has recommended before, you know, taking a deep breaths for about 2 minutes. I noticed that makes a difference. I was skeptical at first when I heard about it, but then I thought, you know, do it. Do it if it helps you feel better. Or smile and try to tense up, or smile and try to look depressed. It don't work that way. Now, I come to this because, you know, I'll be honest with you. I've been battling depression for the past, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months. And then, I don't know, it's like I finally reached the realization that it's time to act on the principles of emotional intelligence and authenticity. Because, see, our reactive culture wants us to respond to their needs right then and there. Now, you tell me. See, that's the biggest problem. Our reactive culture plays on our emotions to get us to respond, which is very idiotic. Maybe when you're a kid, you get a little license to be reactive. But I think to some point, once you're a mature adult, it stops. And that's why emotional intelligence and authenticity is very important. Now, I hope you've enjoyed listening to Strenuous Life Radio. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the Strenuous Life Radio Network. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Think strong, and live the strenuous life. God bless you.